Hi, I'm Phil Reeves, and today I'd like to speak with you about the emerging role of law enforcement chaplaincy. First responders are expected to handle every critical incident and tragedy they encounter with cool, detached efficiency, to come up with the right answer in a split second, untouched by emotions that would affect most others. Clearly, that's impossible. Cops are human. They're not robots. Most first responders are resilient type A personalities who train to handle and compartmentalize ugly scenes. But sooner or later, these will take a toll. So where do they turn when they need help? In addition to psychotherapists, many agencies are now adding patrol chaplains to their rosters. Now, chaplains don't sit in offices waiting for the cops to come to them. They go to the cops, on patrol, in the station, wherever the cops are assigned. Chaplains are proactive in the pursuit of officer or deputy wellness. They're first responders to first responders, so to speak. Now, many people don't know or are confused about what a chaplain is. The difference between a chaplain and, say, a priest or a pastor or a rabbi, imam, is that chaplains are non-denominational, and they shall not proselytize. Chaplains are interfaith, interspiritual professionals. Some are even spiritual, but not religious. They offer an open hand to those of any faith, those without faith, and even those who may be hostile to faith. They're trained to offer inclusive and respectful guidance and comfort. Now, chaplains may, of course, accommodate theological discussions, but only if asked, and they shall not advocate for any particular religion. Addressing troubling issues early, particularly in high-stress professions like law enforcement, is crucial not only to individual well-being, but to departmental efficiency. Given the substantial investment in recruiting and training officers, maintaining their mental, emotional, and spiritual health isn't just a moral obligation, it is a sound management strategy. Chaplains play a pivotal role in breaking down barriers of mistrust and skepticism, particularly among seasoned officers who might be cynical or at risk of mental health issues such as depression or suicidal ideation. The presence of chaplains who offer confidential, judgment-free support helps build a foundation of trust and authenticity that spills over into the community. Providing holistic care is a three-legged stool: peer support, therapists, chaplains, and none should exclude or minimize the other. Now, many officers are leery of engaging with peer support or therapists, unfortunately, despite their best intentions. They fear appearing weak or incapable. An FBI bulletin notes officers who speak to chaplains do so with the assurance that their communication is privileged, confidential, and may not be disclosed to anyone, with the exception of mandated reporter issues, of course. Yet even chaplains must build trust through a consistent and accessible presence. Following disturbing encounters, cops must push on to the next call, but who debriefs them? And who consoles community members touched by trauma? Victims, victims' families, witnesses. Providing emotional support, chaplains also provide a face of the true compassion that any department proudly offers its community. Administrators know that they benefit from training in psychospiritual wellness, navigating stress, anger, family crises, and so on. But where do they get that training? Or what about finding someone to serve in ceremonial functions, memorials, funerals, weddings, and so on, or building community outreach? Who takes the time to visit sick, injured, or dying employees in the hospital or in their homes? Who accompanies retirees and their families as they transition away from a public servant's identity? Now, this is a huge life transition. Patrol chaplains are now more active and effective in many agencies. They contribute not only to employee wellness, job satisfaction, and career longevity, but they also appear to assist departments achieve traditional measures of policing success, such as fewer uses of force, fewer citizen complaints, better community relations, more transparency, and so on. They also help facilitate good relationships with police unions. After all, most officers, deputies, and administrators are union members, so chaplain-union rapport is invaluable and promotes the department's mission and values. So, all said, well-adjusted first responders, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, provide better policing to their communities. That is the bottom line. And excellent agencies demand excellent chaplains. Finally, here are some tips for establishing a successful chaplain program. The program must be non-denominational, as we spoke of before. Second, it's essential to have good policy for the position of the chaplain, qualifications, duties, responsibilities, training, a confidentiality agreement, and a code of conduct. Third, conduct rigorous background checks to be sure of your candidate's credentials and character. Listen to what's important for the chaplain to carry out her duties. Does she need a uniform, an office, a phone, a pager, email? Provide your chaplain's orientation and ongoing in-service training and continuing education. Next, and very important, keep open avenues of direct communication between the chaplain's program and the sheriff or the chief. And remember, if the sheriff or chief, supported by policy, doesn't actively support the program, it will fail. Maintain sufficient controls per policy to prevent anyone who turns out to be unsuitable for the job from damaging your organization. Next, should the size of your agency warrant, consider creating a salaried senior chaplain position, funded either internally or by nonprofit donations. Especially in volunteer organizations, this individual can ensure ongoing continuity and excellence in mission. Lastly, actively support your program vocally, politically, financially, and organizationally. Be creative in embedding chaplains throughout your agency, not unlike the model of military chaplaincy. Thank you.